First question I wanted to ask you is what made you start creating beats?
I used to be like really into EDM when I was young. Like my first like proper introduction to like making music and creating music was listening to Skrillex growing up. Like I was really into like dubstep and like the spinning records era. So I wanted to be like a DJ and I wanted to make EDM, which is kind of like a big niche for like a lot of producers when they first start. Um, uh, and then after that, like I noticed that it was getting like really hard at the time, making that kind of genre. So I wanted to try something new. And I was listening to a lot of like X and Peep and a lot of like the SoundCloud era. So that's how I got into like making rap and like trap and hip hop.
All right. When did you start creating beats?
Well, I started like making actual beats in like 2016, 2017. Um, but then like I started promoting myself like as a producer in my first year of college, which was like 2020.
Did you always know you wanted to create beats? Like, did you ever try to like create music or go into like a different kind of like avenue or lane?
I always wanted to make like art. Like growing up, I was really into drawing and painting. Um, so I always wanted to do something like creative. And then I got into film and like Photoshop. So I always knew that I wanted to do something that's artistic and creative. I didn't expect it to be beats, but over time, I guess like it got to the point where I got better at it, and now it's like something that I also want to do.
How did you come up with your like producer name Longboy?
The way I came up with Longboy was because I'm 6'7", so a lot of people when they hear that name, they're like, "What?" They're like, what does he mean by that?" But I guess it's up to your interpretation. I that's just you thinking. But like for the people who know me in real life, like I'm tall as fuck. So like when they end up meeting me, they're like, okay, I get it now.
You want to run me through like your creative process when creating beats?
Yeah. Well, right now it's just listening to a lot of like up and coming songs. Um, a lot of like my inspiration for beats is really just listening to as much music as possible and listening to like what other producers make to sort of like get inspiration. Um, a lot of it is like the underground scene, like Can, E, SGP West, Slum Success. Like that's sort of like my caliber for making beats right now. So I just listen to like artists within that realm, and I listen for like the production just to get like a basis of what I want to make.
When you first started creating beats, were you ever like trying to sell them off like a website, or were you just like posting them on like SoundCloud or YouTube? So like in the hopes of like artists that had like some kind of movement behind them would pick it up.
I didn't really like know the marketing game of music when I first started. It was more so like a fun thing to do on the side. Um, I tried to like market myself, but I didn't do as much research back then. Feel like in retrospect that could have like boosted my career up a lot faster. But um, as time went by, and when I first actually started to like promote myself like through YouTube and through like other platforms, like I sat down and I like figured out like the game of marketing, I guess. But in the beginning, it was more so like just making shit for fun, like posting on SoundCloud, um, YouTube, and yeah, just for me, like to do on the side as a hobby.
Was there like a key moment when you kind of like blew up and thought that you can make producing beats like a form of income or like a way that you can make a living off of?
Really, it was last year, like all this time, like it was just like for fun, and all this time I was just like in the lower ground, and then last year I started like blowing up on YouTube and like started finding more people, started marketing myself more, and that's when I and then started making more money off of it, and that's when I figured that like I could really make it. And then I especially got that idea this year because, I've met a lot of people and I got like a lot more placements and started making like more money than I have over the last couple of years. So, and now, now I'm in LA, so I'm like looking to market myself and looking to find people around here. So, yeah, I think like last year and this year was sort of like the realization that I can really make it as a producer.
For people who don't know you, and for your beat and sorry for your beats, you want to run me through a list of like artists that you have produced for?
Yeah, I have some unreleased with Famous Dex, Kikio. Um, I got one with Summer's feature coming up next month. And then some like other release stuff. Jace, Killbunk, um, Danny Towers was a recent one. Sport VVS, just a bunch of like underground, like rising artists.
Um, okay. What artists would you like to collaborate with in the future?
I have a top three. Ski, Ski Mask is like top because like I used to listen to his shit all the time in high school and even now still like that's like my number one that I want to work with. Um, and then like within like the underground scene, probably some success and SGPUS.
Real quick, going back to the artists that you have produced for, how did you kind of come up and produce for like people like Famous Dex, Killbunk, Jace, and all these like top artists?
It was honestly like producing is not like a lot of people want to say like, oh, I did it myself, oh, it's like solo work, but it's really like a collaborative effort. So like a lot of the beats that I make, I work with like other producers, A&Rs who like push my beats and like help me get these placements. So a lot of the placements, obviously I try to get them myself, but there's nothing wrong with like people helping you, and then the torch sort of like passes it to you so that you could like help others. So like with Famous Dex, for example, it was a collab beat with Inabu, and he was already tapped in with Dex, and then like somebody sent me a message like with a screen recording of Famous Dex on live previewing the beat, and I was like, okay, like it it was all thanks to Yanabu who actually like sent it to him. So like a lot of these placements, and I don't mind saying it because again, I'm really like not up there to the point where I can like send shit myself. Um, but I have also gotten placements like through my YouTube and through BeatStars, like Sport BBS and like um, the Jace placement was a feature, but it was through a beat that I posted on YouTube. Um, so like a lot of these other platforms also help you find other artists and other placements that you didn't know that you could get.
For new and up and coming producers like you, what kind of advice do you have for them?
What I would suggest, it's take it with a grain of salt, I guess, because it's other producers probably said this a lot in the past, but it's really just about being patient and staying consistent. Um, Obviously, there will be moments where you kind of like doubt yourself as a producer, but you really got to utilize what's around you, such as YouTube and BeatStars and like other platforms, and really just take some time to kind of like find out, how does it work now? How can I blow up as a producer now? and just be patient and consistent with what you do, and eventually shit will come for you.
All right. For people who are watching this that like want to get into beat making and producing, what's kind of like the kind of like software they should use?
Well, I use FL Studio, which is sort of like, I guess, the industry standard, also Ableton. But really, like, there's so many like softwares that like technology has evolved to the point where any software can help you blow up as a producer, even as an artist too. Um, if you need some free ones, there's GarageBand. There's I don't know, there's thousands of softwares out there, but um, Ableton and FL are probably the ones that I know that are like the best for producers, and Logic too, Logic Pro. Um, but yeah, like even with like the simplest ones, it's always a good way to start, I guess, with those.
All right. Have you always used FL Studio?
And day one, baby, I can't switch. I I just can't. I just can't use other ones, you know, for me at least. Like I started with FL, I kind of want to continue on with FL. If I want to learn other softwares, if I want to learn other softwares, like I can, but I'm just so like in tune with FL right now.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, any new like projects or like new songs that you're creating or any new collaborations that people should look out for?
I mean, I did release a project not too long ago, um, before coming down to LA. But I'm probably gonna work on another one. And yeah, for now I'm just still working. For now I'm just trying to lock in with a lot of new people and a lot of rising artists, and hopefully work on another tape. But I dropped a tape that was hosted by Slump Audios. It's called "It's a Long Day." It's on his SoundCloud, and it has a lot of artists that are like from my city, Toronto, and also like rising underground artists. So I'm hoping to make another one.